Welcome back to FM Storey. We had a great run of form in the last episode, which managed to rescue us from where we started the season. We're right up there at the top of the table, games in hand on Porto and Benfica, but we do have really important league games coming up. We've got Benfica first up in this episode. We've got Porto as well before the end of February. We've also got the Taca de Portugal semi-final coming up. We've got the round of 16 in the Champions League coming up. And then we've already made it as well to the Allianz Cup Final. So things are going pretty well. But we really need to do something in these big league games against Benfica and Porto to really push on and really challenge for the title, which would be our sixth title in a row. Before we get started, if you do enjoy the video, please like, comment, and subscribe. Without further ado, let's get going. This is the side we've picked for the game against Benfica. It's pretty much our strongest team at this point, with Harry Kane in the number 10 role behind Thiago Thomas and Arda Güler wide right and Gunmington wide left. Given that Benfica beat us 1-0 at home in August, we really could do with beating them today at least, just to level up the head-to-head record, just in case we end up on the same points as them at the end of the season. So they've sold Benjamin Sesko, who always seemed to score against us for Benfica. Hopefully that's a springboard to us doing well in this game. And there really is not an awful lot happening in this game so far, in this first half. Been quite quiet, very little chances. We've seen one highlight so far. Right, they've got a goal kick. Ruot wins the header. Sugo on to Goncalo Esteves. Arda into Harry Kane. Thiago Thomas is through. What a goal. Just sprung the attack on them. Sugo had played the ball into Arda Güler, who found Kane. Kane takes a touch and then he'd drawn one of the centre-halves out, slides it in where he was. Thiago Thomas runs off the other centre-half, bobbles slightly, but he still manages to find the finish. Puts us 1-0 up just before half-time. Got to say, really not the best performance we've put in the first half, but we're in front. We just need to make sure we don't do anything stupid in this second half. Keep ourselves calm and just keep going, and hopefully we come away with a victory. Right, they've got a throw in deep in our half early in this half. They've working the ball towards the box. In the box, but they've gone back to the halfway line. Gone back to their keeper. We've not been able to get out here. And they're keeping the ball pretty well. It's come to the left back in loads of space. Cross comes in. Balde half clears it. So when I said don't want to do anything stupid, I didn't think I would have to spell it out. That meant no running straight into the back of someone in the penalty area. Give the referee a decision to make. Juan Miranda steps up and sends Musso the wrong way, and back to 1-1. And that is not a particularly good goal in terms of where we stand in the head-to-head now. Right, Sugo picks up the loose ball. Asimovic, Santos, Sugo, Balde's through. Oh, I mean, at least he made the keeper work, but really we should be finishing those. Yeah, there we are, 1-1. I think you've got to say, based on the match stats and everything like that, it's probably a fair result. We just did not do anywhere near enough to win, which is disappointing twofold. It's a big game against local rivals, and we lost against them earlier on in the season, so now they've got the head-to-head advantage, so we need to make sure we don't slip up in the rest of the season so that we end up on the same number of points as them. Simple as that. So since the Benfica game, things have gone pretty well. We've obviously reached the point where we're playing Porto. Obviously the Benfica result wasn't what we were looking for. We went away to Rio Ave in the first game after that and got off to a great start. 2 goals in 7 minutes from Harry Kane and Thiago Thomas. And they were never really a threat, and it was a really comfortable victory, which is exactly what we needed after that game against Benfica. We then were at home to Braga and basically blew them out of the water in the first half. We were 4-0 up at half time. We got another couple of early goals as well, and then a couple of goals in the first 10 minutes of the second half to go put us 6-0 up. Really comfortable victory, and definitely the sort of performance that we need to put in after that disappointing game against Benfica. We then followed that up with another home game against Casapia, who were fourth on the table at the time. Again, another great performance. We put 6 past them this time as well. We didn't start very well. They took an early lead. Luckily, we got a penalty shortly afterwards, so we could level it up. We took the lead just before half-time with a couple of goals from Taca de Portugal, both headers. And then in the second half, Ruwalt got a header. Unfortunately, we lost Thiago Tomas to a wrist injury where he's going to be out for 6 weeks. But then Ruben Alonso stepped up, picked up another 2 goals for the club, proving to be a bit of a bargain signing for 5.75 million or whatever it was that we spent on him in January. And then in the most recent game, we went away to Maritimo. Again, got off to a great start with Harry Kane getting 2 goals in the first 15 minutes. Ruben Alonso picked up another one on 25 minutes. It also another game where we've been able to manage the minutes of sort of Son and Kane so that we're not overexerting them with some big games to come. And then as far as the league's concerned, everyone's played 22 games now. We are top of the table with 57 points, with 2 points clear of Porto, with 3 points ahead of Benfica. Obviously, we'd like to be a bit further ahead of Benfica than that just because of having drawn with them and lost to them. They hold the head-to-head, so if we level on points with Benfica, obviously Benfica would win the title. So we need to make sure we're certainly well clear of them so that we don't slip up. So going into the game against Porto, we've gone with what is our strongest lineup. We've brought Ruwalt and Asugo back. They missed the last game because they were a yellow card away from suspension. Ruben Alonso is going to play through the middle with Thiago Tomas being out injured. They've signed Fabio Vieira, 39.5 million in the January transfer window. We did look at it, but it didn't think it fit a need for us. And they do also have the top goal scorer in the league in Andre Silva. And Andre Silva's gone off injured as well. If we don't win here, then we're going to have some concerns. Kane, though, unfortunately, looks like he's already picked up a knock as well. Asugo has the ball, recovers it into Santos. Asugo, Ruwalt, Asugo into Kane, onto Alonso, and Arda's there to fire across the keeper into the far corner, and that is just 1-0 up. So Ruwalt plays it into Asugo, straight on the corner to Harry Kane, 1 touch to Alonso, who takes a touch and then just lays in Arda Güler, who fires across the keeper. Balde, Kane really looks like he is struggling a bit there. We've won the ball back in midfield and then given it away again. It's gone straight to Güler. What a ball. Alonso's in. Oh, what a composed finish that is. Just dinks it over the keeper and it just has enough on it to beat the lunging defender. So Arda Güler lifts the ball over the top of the defender who mistimes his jump. Alonso gets there, takes it in, dinks it over the keeper, and the defender on the stretch just couldn't get there. Not a bad signing for 5.5 million. Santos with a corner, aims for Nyanzi at the back post. 3-0 up at half time. It gives us the opportunity, I think, of bringing Harry Kane off at half time just because we don't want to make any injury worse. Lovely ball to the back post. Nyanzi gets up above 2 defenders and powers the header past the keeper. And there we go, half time, 3-0 up. We came into the half as the half went on. Obviously, them having lost a couple of players is probably a big blow to them and a big boost to our chances here. I think we're going to need to make some changes. Harry Kane's coming off. Arda Güler struggling fitness-wise, and so's Tanguy Nyanzi, so they're both coming off as well. Right, they're attacking. We've won it back. Santos into Alonso. Looked out wide to Coroas, but we've given it away again. Right, they're coming forward. The left back's got acres of space there. Goes into the box. I don't know how we managed to scramble that away, but we need to be much more on it defensively. Right, they're through. So maximum 1-on-1. Tries to chip the keeper, but gets his direction wrong. And it looks like we're going to end up with a clean sheet. Another one. In the end, second half, we did what we had to do. We weren't brilliant, but we managed the game. Came away with a 3-0 victory, which was crucial after that game against Benfica. We can't afford any slip-ups that bring them closer to us. So to get a victory over one of our biggest rivals like that, we'll take it and we'll move on and keep rolling on towards the title, hopefully. We're now approaching the end of March. We've got to when we get our youth intake. Largely since the Porto game, things have gone pretty well. We struggled in the first game after the Porto game against Estrela Amadora. They took an early lead. We were 1-0 down at half time. We didn't really create an awful lot, but luckily we managed to get goals from Coruas and Son that got us back into the game and got us the victory. We then went away to Maritimo in the first leg of the Taca de Portugal and put in a decent performance, got a 3-0 victory to set us up for the second leg with goals from Coruas, Alonso and Nyanzu. We then took a bit of a risk in the home game against Porto and Benfica. We played, we rested our first choice lineup just because we had the first leg of the Champions League against Man United coming up. In the end, it worked out. We were comfortably winning the game. They got a consolation goal. We didn't probably create as much as we would with the first choice team, but it was important to rest them for that big Champions League game. We then went away to Old Trafford and basically got off to the worst possible start, conceding a goal to our former Benfica nemesis, Benjamin Šeško. We managed to get back into the game on half-time with a header from Tanguy Nyanzu. And then after that, neither team really created an awful lot. The draw was probably the fair result on the balance of play. But at least getting back on level terms put us in a good position going into the second leg. So we took a bit of a chance in the game against Gil Vicente as well. In that we rotated some players out of the team that were struggling fitness-wise for the second leg against Man United. We would have probably considered taking out more, but Estevez and Rualt managed to get suspended for the second leg against Man United, so they were definitely going to play. And we ended up with Harry Kane playing through the middle. He got us off to a great start with 2 goals in the first 35 minutes. Dario Sugo put us 3-0 up at half-time. We then took some of the players off at that stage just to manage them, and then we almost threw it away. Gil Vicente got back into the game, and luckily for us, this second goal was probably a bit too late for them to really push on and get an equaliser. But in the end, we held on and came away with a victory. We were then at home to Man United in the second leg, and again got off to the sort of the worst possible start in that they were all over us early on. Benjamin Šeško scored and put them 1-0 up. Luckily for us, Coruas was able to put us back on level terms before half-time. And then shortly after half-time, Guillem Santos danced into the box and bent a lovely goal into the far corner to put us 2-1 up. And then they didn't really threaten us that much. In the second half, we were pretty comfortable. We held on and saw us through to the next round. So we're through to the quarter-final where we've been drawn against Monaco. And if we manage to get past Monaco in the quarter-final, we'll play the winner of Arsenal or Barcelona in the semi-final. And then in the most recent game, we were at home to Estoril and we picked the same starting lineup that played against Man United in the second leg. Arda Güler got us off to a great start early on, and then we sort of treaded water most of the rest of the game. Neither team really created an awful lot. In the end, we picked up another couple of goals, one after 80 minutes, one in injury time, just to secure the win and make it look a bit more comfortable than it probably was. So where that kind of leaves us in the league is that we are first with 72 points. We're now 5 points clear of both Benfica and Porto. Both sides have played the same number of games, so there's only 7 games left in the season. Hopefully we've got enough about us to just carry on and win the title for what will be the 6th season in a row. As we said, it's youth intake time, so when the youth preview came out, it basically said it was going to be a good intake, but the only position we got an A in was fullback, and there was one fullback coming through. It seems that the intake's probably a bit better than we were promised in the preview. So the first player we're going to look at is Fred Pinedo, who looks like he's got some decent goalkeeping stats so far, attributes so far. Probably not on a par with Pantovic, who we signed last summer, but potential to be at least a backup for us. I mean, obviously he's only 15, so it's going to take a while before we're going to be willing to throw him into first team action. And we've got Thiago, a left back, who I'm presuming is the full back that they mentioned in the youth preview. Four-star potential at left back, can potentially in the future do a job at right back as well. Also quite tall, which is something we don't really have with the fullbacks we've got at the moment. Good bravery, good work rate. We're lacking severely in the technicals at this stage. Then we've got Abdou Camouez, who is primarily a wide left player who can play in any of the positions behind the front man. We're looking at a potential 4-star there as well. Some better technicals, and the mentals are a bit lacking on him in terms of sort of looking at the concentration and the decisions. Good determination though. The work rate's a bit of a concern as well, but some potential there, no doubt. And then we've got a wide man on the other side, Rui Pedro Patakas, 3.5-star potential. So severely lacking in the technicals at the moment, but a bit better in terms of the mentals and the physicals. And all in all, probably the best intake we've had for a couple of seasons, but still not producing the sort of high-end youth talent that you would expect to see. I think given that we've brought a lot of players in that are young from outside the club in the last couple of seasons, we probably don't need to address that too much this summer as well. But obviously we'll have a look and see who there is to supplement the players that we've received here. And that's the end of another episode. We're approaching the business end of the season, and we've got ourselves into a really strong position with 5 points clear at the top of the table, with 7 games left to play. We've made it to the quarterfinals of the Champions League with a relatively good draw compared to some of the ones we could have got. We're in the final of the Allianz Cup. We're 3-0 up after the first leg of the semi-final of the Taca de Portugal. We've already won the UEFA Super Cup, and we've already won the Super Taca. Is there a possibility of us winning 6 trophies this season with the Club World Cup to come in the summer? Let's find out next time. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you then.